Create this Excel dashboard with me to track project progress in just 8 minutes. I pasted this heading in just for speed, but go ahead and title this whatever makes sense for you, and then I'm going to paste in another one. Now what I'm going to do is go to Merge and Center. We're not filtering or anything like that, so to do that with a title is not a big deal. Looks good. Next, I need to add in the information that we want at the bottom, and that's going to include the project name or the project number and the various milestones. All the details here, like a date complete would be useful and whether it's done. So let's space these out, and at the bottom here we're going to put an overall progress for project 1. We're going to need to see a total, and then again I'm going to use alignment and merge and center, and not a big deal because we are not filtering or doing anything like that. This is just going to be a static dashboard. So next I'm going to do some formatting here. Let's change some of the colors to make these headings stand out, and we're going to make them a little bit larger. You can change the font size here. Again, we're going to merge and center. And let's change that to bold. And then let's also change these to a different color here. Let's go with a light gray. This will help things stand out and make it look like our original dashboard at the beginning. We're going to bold. If you need to increase the column width, you can click in between the letters there and then drag. Now I'm doing some centering here so that this looks nice. And then let's go to Insert Checkbox. And we're going to draw in our checkboxes, and we'll click inside of those and press Delete once we've drawn this in here to get rid of the text that's there. And then you can see when you check it, nothing is being done. So you need to link these in a second, but we'll copy and paste these and move them in. And then copy and paste, and then copy paste with Control C, Control V. Next, what I need to do is make a space for the progress bar, and then the formula here is going to be count if. We need to make sure that anything that's in this range here is true, is going to show up as our count, and then we want to divide that by a count A because we want to divide it by the total number of checkboxes that is there, and that's how we're going to get our % complete. Now test it out, and you can see that it's working. Let's right click on Format Control, and we need to link the cell. So we're going to make sure that that is linked here, and repeat those steps. And then next, let's see here, we check it, all is looking good still. Then we're going to change the format on the % here so that it's much larger. We really want that to stand out. And then over here is going to be our progress bar formula. We're going to use the repeat function, and make sure you follow this exactly as shown. I'm using 70 here, but you can adjust that to whatever makes sense. That number could go to 100 if it makes sense, and then we're going to multiply it by that % completed. So now let's do some formatting here. We need the playbill font or else this isn't going to look right, and you can see as you check the boxes, it's looking good. So let's change this font to something much larger, and then let's do conditional formatting. So we need a new role. We want to be able to change the colors on this progress bar. So let's type this in exactly as shown. And if it's a less than value here of, let's say 0.3, we're going to change this color to red. These values that you choose will make sense based on the number of checkboxes that you have or wherever you want to divide that line for what should be a green, yellow, red. This time we need the AND function in there because we're doing a greater than the 0.3 range and less than the 0.67. So somewhere in our middle range, we want those to be yellow. So we're going to go here and make sure that you change the font color because this is actually a font, it's not a fill. So looking good so far. I like to do a spot check in between each rule that is set. So let's go up here, and now this one is just going to be if the cell is greater than the 0.67. And again, let's go here to green. Looks good. So anything that is in that 75% range, because we have 4 checkboxes, is going to show as green. But again, you can adjust that as needed. So now you need to go through and repeat that step for all of these bars. So you can go through here and make the adjustments as needed. And then double check these to make sure that they make sense. So again, test it out. It's looking good. So now we're going to insert our completed and incomplete at the top. So let's just type that in, and then we're going to we have to do a formula here where we're going to capture all 4 of these. If you had more, you'd want to make sure that you check or that you include all of them. And then again, we're going to divide with that count A because we want to divide by the total possibility of checkboxes. So what this is doing at the top is it's showing an overall complete progress for the 4 sections that you had. So if we want to look at the entire department, let's say, with all their projects, that's why you would use this. So let's go up here and change that to a %, and then incomplete is just going to be 1 minus that percentage. And now let's check this out here. We need to insert another formula. We're going to do a count if on each of these because we need to see how many within each project is true, and we can paste those formulas. Looking good. So as we uncheck, it is adjusting accordingly. Now do a spot check and make sure you check half the boxes so you can make sure that that 50% is what shows up. And in our case, it did. So I'm going to change these colors to a blue, and let's go with a gray. And we'll do some formatting here to make it stand out a little bit more. And this is looking pretty good. Let's center this. And then next up, let's highlight all of this to insert our chart. So we're going to go to a 3D pie chart and let's resize it down. I'm going to move that in place and make a few tweaks here. So I'm going to click on the title and delete it because we already have a title over the entire spreadsheet at the top. And then let's change our fill colors here. So we would like them to match the colors off to the right. It just makes it easier to look at if completed and incomplete are mirroring each other. That's looking good. And then next, let's right click and let's do a little bit of adjustments here. We're going to change the background there. We'll make it a darker color that stands out. And for the text options, you can change this color as well. Let's go with white. That really pops a lot better. And then let's keep checking it as we're going so everything's looking good. So now what I'm going to do is highlight all of these boxes at the bottom, these overall project boxes, and I'm going to add a border because I want to remove the grid lines in the back of the Excel file, the tab, and if I don't have those borders, it would not show up nearly as nice. So now I'm going to change that background to a light gray. And again, let's go up to the View menu and uncheck the grid lines. And then we can go back through here and anything that's left, we could change to that light gray so the entire background is looking good. Go up to Fill again and start testing it out.